Welcome to TOTV Live. It is time to enter into the void. All right, here, let me get this here. There's so many things to do here. Whoop, wait a second. Where are we? Okay, so we turn that off, boom, and we're there. And then I got to do this and then that, and there we are. Hello everybody, welcome to the TOTV live stream, our second live stream in this very tiny now startup YouTube channel called the Tales of the Void YouTube channel, where we talk about all things Source, TimeStrike, Adventure Together games, anything else pertaining to Source. I am Ryan, aka Tales of the Void, or you can call me Tales as well. I also have a YouTube channel called Tales of Valhalla, where we talk about HeroScape a lot, do stop motion animations of HeroScape, and all that stuff. Links in the description below for everything we're going to be talking about tonight. Tonight, we are going through a reading of the TimeStrike Rulebook. I don't know, because it is almost 50 pages of rules, so I don't know if we're going to go through all of it tonight. We might have to do, like, this might be a part 1 and part 2. And I am starting a little bit late. I was going to start like about half hour earlier, but there was some things with my job that I had to do, and kind of still currently doing, but it's okay. So just a few minutes late tonight. But before we get into diving into this rulebook, I do want to talk a little bit about GenCon, because all the guys from Adventure Together games, or most of them, were at GenCon, as well as people who were working with the Source system, introducing their games with a Source system, and like kind of like test playing them out at like there was like a segment of GenCon that a space where people could test out their games for people to use. And I was not one of those people. I'm not a I'm not a game designer, and I'm not really a game tester. What I specialize in is stop motion animation and storytelling, and that's kind of why my interest is kind of peaked with TimeStrike and the Source system in general, because TimeStrike, it's got amazing lore, and I plan to hopefully do some type of series like I've done with Tales of Valhalla sometime in the future. But anyway, excuse me. All right, I'm gonna take a drink. Of something that's not alcohol at all. But I did want to show just some photos of that trip real quick, talk just a little bit about it, and a lot of that, and some of GenCon had to do with HeroScape and like Renegade at GenCon, and I did talk about that. Did talk about that in my Tales of Valhalla YouTube channel a couple of weeks ago. But I did want to just talk a little bit about GenCon pertaining to the guys from Adventure Together Games and Source and TimeStrike and all that. So let me just share a couple of pictures from that event. And here, I gotta find the right thing to open this thing here. Hold on a moment. Okay. So, traveling to GenCon. Now, I of course have to thank the guys from Adventure Together Games to give me a pass, a day pass. It was the Sunday of GenCon, to actually be able to show up and just be there, and I really appreciate it. If it wasn't for them, I would not have gone. Oh, and of course I got this. I can see this. I got this shirt from them. Source. Yeah, unfortunately I do not have a Tales of the Void t-shirt yet. That might take a while to get that logo on a t-shirt, but in the meantime I do have a Source shirt, so I'll wear that when I stream on this channel. But anyway, so pack up, ready to go. And then this is showing up at a restaurant, and this is kind of a strange and there's Anthony. Shirt looks good, and yeah. I think I'm gonna keep it. I think I like it a lot. But Anthony there is one of the guys, one of the developers for TimeStrike, and as well as part of Adventure Together Games. Anyway, they invited me, and here's this wonderful crowd. We have Adventure Together alumni as well as play testers there within this community, and I just joined in. You know, and I told my wife this was the strange occurrence of where, okay, honey, you're gonna drop me off at a restaurant to guys to meet people that I've never met, but I've talked to them online for like a year or so, and we're gonna be playing like games all weekend, you know, at a strange house that I've never been to either. You know, it sounds like a horror film, but it all worked out well. But yeah, here's these grand guys, and then this was my first time touching the source material. You know, the tiles, the edges there. I mean, look at them edges. Yep, touch the edges too. Gotcha. And so I played a little TimeStrike that initial evening. I joined with these guys like Saturday night, and then that following Sunday was in at GenCon. But yeah, and I mean the source train system is just stellar. But what really blows my mind are the miniatures. Just look at, now you think these are painted? Nope, they're pre-colored. So they're 3D printed, and they're pre-colored minis. 3-colored 3D print. Doesn't that just blow your mind how, like, it looks like it's a wash on it. You know, it looks like it's painted well with a wash on it. It just, it blows my mind how amazing these miniatures look. Just such good detail. Oh my gosh. And so yeah, I got some pictures of these because they were actually, I think it was Anthony that pulled them out and was able to be like, yeah, we can show you these. So I'm like, yeah, I'm getting photos. Yep. That's a version of Mara the Meek right there. And then this is their baddie. This is Fear, and there is oh my goodness, come on, I should know this character. It's I think the Peanut Gallery will probably give me the answer, but I'm forgetting this character's name at the moment. But yes, and I think at the time when we were actually playing TimeStrike, I think I got I like playing this. I like playing this mini, which kind of makes me upset why I'm forgetting his name at the moment. But he likes to fish a lot. But I was able to get him on top. It didn't really help our situation at all. We started at a loss basically. But it was still fun. Still fun to play, fun to learn. And then here's some other 3D prints, and these are the bases. I think these are the plan type of bases that they are going to be on. And then just look at that. That's Ronald. I know that. Oh, that Roland, not Ronald. Roland. That's Roland. That's Mara the Meek. And what's really interesting is the fact that there is such detail on these prints. Again, pre-colored. These are not painted. You can just zoom in as close as possible, and it's just amazing how yeah, that's Roland. I'm talking about the fisherman, Anthony. I forget who the fisherman's name is, but anyway, yeah, this is Roland, and see, he even has like an R tattooed on his back. That's just how freaking detailed this is. Pre-colored, not painted again. Newsflash, not painted. Just incredible. So yeah, I can't wait to stop motion animation like these guys, because they're just gonna look fantastic. And I think these are like demon type monsters. Again, just it's incredible, the detail. Of course, there's a shirt. Like there's a shirt. Fun times. And then there's my GenCon badge, my Sunday badge. And here is the playtesting hall. and that was just really fun. So I did take some video of each of, with the exception of Lex's game, because he wasn't able to playtest on Sunday. But the other playtest games, I got some footage on them. So when we eventually do the TOTV podcast, we can have them come on, interview them, and kind of show kind of that B-roll to whenever we like I'm editing down a version to talk about on the video segments of YouTube. But yeah, there it is. And you think this isn't all of GenCon, by the way. This is just one room. There's like a hall, like that's like the size of a football field, or probably multiple football fields. And that's not all of it either. There's just places everywhere to go at GenCon. I don't remember what the numbers were, but there are like literally thousands and thousands and thousands of people there. Just crazy. And then whoops, okay. I don't know how they got into that. That's Heroescape stuff, and I already talked about that. But this is actually after GenCon. The guys from Adventure Together Games were gracious enough to give me just a handful of the source terrain and the edges. I will be getting some come when stuff gets shipped out in November, whatever I ordered. But what I found incredible when it comes to this terrain system, that my son, who is, let's just say he's around 6 years old, he was able to pick up on, like, I basically, first time I assembled the edges, and I put some of the tiles in to just show him how they're placed, and I wasn't even like a quarter of the way done, and he started just doing it himself. And ever since then, he knows how to build, and he does his own like unique builds with it, and it's so easy. It is so simply easy to build these things. And like I said, I didn't build these, my son did, and they're just going to see it, and he just places them down and he's ready to go. And there's not much tiles, but they're enough to fill this little space, and he does it. He does see, he got some Heroescape miniatures there, and yep, my son built that. That's not me. My kiddo's got a good mind for that. Boom, boom, boom. And I do have to shout. Okay, and there's a picture of us right there. There's a picture, and that's the main hall, right there. And I will have to say that where is he? Where's Nick? I think Nick's right there. Nick really helped me a lot. Well, I'd say, well, not a lot, but he helped me quite a bit managing through GenCon, because I've never been to GenCon before, so I just want to give him a quick shout out and say thank you, because I was very lost, even like coming in, like getting my badge, and I'm like, I don't know where to go. and Nick's like, just hold tight where you are, I'll come get you, and he did. And then when I wanted to like go like in this main hall and go to booths, he's like, oh yeah, I'll take it, and followed it, and he let me through. And then after I knew where I was going, then I was fine. But it was good to have a guide there. But yeah, here is minus Alex, and I think minus me and names. I'm forgetting names. Minus a Robin too. So I think 2 people were missing because they had to fly home. But yeah, there we are, main hallway, and that it was a ball. It was a lot of fun. A lot of grand things happened during that. Just that basically in the space of like 24 hours, basically. And it was really great. It was really nice to meet some of these guys from Adventure Together, to see that they were actual, real people. And yeah, fun times. So that is all I have to say really about GenCon. Like I said, who knows, might be there next year, we'll have to see. But what I will do now is, now that it's almost 10 o'clock, I'm going to take a drink. And we will get started going through this rule book, and I can tell you right now, we'll see, because it's almost 10 o'clock right now, and I know I don't want to be up too late because tomorrow it's a school night, so tomorrow I have to be up early. So I'll try. I'll see where I'm at in an hour. If I have like maybe 5 pages left after an hour, then I'll try and finish it. But if it's more than that, then we might have to do a part 2, like either next Wednesday or the Wednesday after. And I will say this too as a caveat, when it comes to this YouTube channel, we're just getting started. Just getting started streaming, and eventually I'm doing a transition because on my Tales of Valhalla YouTube channel, I'm usually streaming on Sundays and Wednesdays. And what I plan to do is, so I can devote equal time to both channels, is that I'm going to stream on my Tales of Valhalla YouTube channel with HeroScape content on Sunday nights, and then on Wednesday nights I'll stream on Tales of the Void and do all my Source and TimeStrike and everything else on Wednesday evenings. And if I'm doing live recording podcasts, it's going to be on Wednesday evenings, and so that way it's split. So if we're going to be streaming, it's going to be Wednesday nights usually on this channel, and it might not be every Wednesday consecutively yet, but it's probably going to end up getting consistent within a matter of a few weeks to maybe a month or two. We'll start getting more consistent, especially since, the game hasn't been released, but we do have some stuff to talk about with this, because we have this rulebook. We also got the Source Golf rulebook, so we might spend a few live streams reading through those. But with that being said, let us get started going through this rulebook. And link description below if you would like to download this rulebook yourself. It's exclusive on the Adventure Together Games Discord, and there's a link description below if you want to join the Discord. Find that link to download these. Eventually you're going to get copies of these anyway if you've ordered TimeStrike via their campaign, or just message them, and I'm sure they'll everybody from Adventure Together Games is usually pretty darn helpful. So how about we get started with this? Okay, so first off I want to say, whoa, here we go. Whoop, okay. That the artwork is just lovely. Just lovely. Look at all these creatures here. Like, you got this, you have a mountain, and then you have a creature that's as big as the mountain. And I think these are like tentacles here. Then you got just beasts and like humanoid type creatures and demon type just all kinds of fun. This is just their first wave. This is just their starter. It's crazy. And look at that. I don't even know what that creature is. It looks like a raccoon. I don't think that's a Magi. Is that a Magi or not? I don't think it is. But yeah, just insane. Okay, rulebook. TimeStrike Rulebook. So let's see how we play this game. I'm just going to try and read all through it. Navigating the rules. Colored tabs adjacent to each section. And here, I don't know if I need to... Do I need to zoom in on this? Make this... Does that help? Whoa, okay. That's a little too much. Alright. I guess we'll do that. That we'll have to do. That color tab is adjacent to each section. Heading can also be found on each page covering the topic to help you quickly reference the rules. So, yeah. So this is just a great way to figure out, okay, what do I need to figure out? Stuff about movement, combat dice, character references, player turns, just it's all there. There's your index. Choosing game modes, and looks like there's 3 different types of game modes: boss battle royale, skirmish, and boss raid. Another table content. See, and there's like I said, there's a lot of info about everything. If there's 3 ways to play this game, then yeah, there'd be a lot. And actually, okay, I'm not going to read all these bullet points, but let's just see what all these are. Okay, component list, setup, game modes, introduction, player turns, general information, movement, Character references, build the map, choose a game mode, actions and energy, luck, inventory, targeting, combat, building and crafting, lost awakenings, or the lost awakenings, buffs and curses, sentience, skills, monsters, boss battle royale rules, skirmish rules, boss raid rules, Shadow of Fear credits, quick reference player aid. See the back of this rulebook for quick reference guide covering game setup, character boards, play overview, player turns, calculating stats, combat, and facts. And they also have their video tutorials here that if you need to scan, you can scan right now. Okay. And just look at that thing. It almost looked like someone took a picture in the rain, just I'm gonna die, and I'm just gonna snap this one picture. It's nice. All right, here we go. The King of Nothing. I know the secrets of the universe. I hold the keys to all its stars. But you, survivor, have entered the void, and your journey has only just begun. It may be difficult to recall from whence you came, or the distance you have fallen. Here, in the heart of the void, worlds collide, and heroes are born, but histories die. There is no light, no dawn, only the endless black sky, for this is a realm at the end of time. No one can say which path you will discover, whether you'll be lost here forever or ever unbound. But one thing is for certain, the end is not near. It is upon you now. You were brought here by a force far greater than your own. You were torn from your people, torn from your home. It all began with a sublime... I'm sorry, I'm reading too fast. Torn from your home. It all began with the sublime and the great weapon. It once was mine. For this weapon, the eyeless maiden and her sentience set out to destroy, but instead unleashed its power into the void. Now civilizations crumble into dust across this graveyard of endless dunes. White sands where universes meet their ends and memories fade too soon. The fate of all things now hangs in the balance, for within the void lies a power that cannot be vanquished. Whispers in the dark speak of a dread you can't escape. The limbs of terror lay in wait. Eternal nightmares await you in the endless night. Screams and silence echo without noise, maddening those bold or foolish enough to fight. In the void's embrace, where time stands still, heroes rise and fall, bending to its will. Battles are fought in quiet, wars rage in the mind. For those who venture here, steel begins to rust, and all hope fades as starlight turns back into dust. Yet even in this void, where dread lurks in every shadow, an ember of defiance kindles. From the depths, a flame of courage sparks, as heroes find their strength in the fires of their hearts. They stand against the darkness, steadied to conquer the trials ahead, determined to rebuild their shattered worlds and return to what they had left. Should you fight and stay, you will steward what is kept, hidden from the maiden and her monsters from the depths. Heroes will be forged in the shadow of fear. They rise, they fall, but they endure. They face what end is near. You must devise a way to set your own soul free, or guard what hides within this void, before the sentience undoes history. Boom, 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 boom. It's a lot of words. It's a lot of words, and I feel like that There are some like kind of almost subtle nods towards some thoughts I gave about about half a year ago or so that I think they clung on to. So, but I won't say anything other than that. All right, so here we go. Here's what's in our TimeStrike. It's 1 Fear, 5 Tentacles, 1 Abandon, 1 Luxuria, and I'm sorry if I butcher these names. 1 Gula, 1 Jake Alland, 2 Legion, 1 Mara the Meek, 1 Roland Rumpus, Hod. There you go, Hod. That's it. Hod's the fisherman. 3 Mana Worms, 1 Moggy. You know, guys, eventually I'm probably going to need like 1,000 Moggies, to be perfectly honest. And 1 Zato. And then you got character boards. Look at these things. This is a huge improvement to like your Heroscape army card. See, that's a Heroscape card. This is a TimeStrike card. And so you got 10 character boards, and it's not a card, it's a board. 1 Fear, 1 Abandon, Luxuria, Gola, Jake Allen, Legion, Mara the Meek, Roland Rumpus, Hod, and Mana Worms. And then you got your marker cubes. Gold, blue, red. Then you got your 2 standard D20 dice. Voila. You got your 16 custom D6 dice. Voila. And you got 6 stackable walls. Look at those walls. Nice walls. And stackable, does stackable mean you can stack them on top of each other? I'm pretty sure that's what it means. You can stack them on top of each other. I'm pretty sure. And then 1 source foundation. Ba-da-da-da. And 24 resource and road tokens. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. And you got 36 cards. Let's see here, 7 boss battle royale, 12 boss raid, 8 trials, 9 cheat sheets. I'm sorry, maybe I can zoom in on these things for a second here. Hold on. Let me see if I can. Kind of hard to read still, but yeah. So basically, I think you have cards that can guide you through a game, as well as allow like an enemy or a boss battle, like or a big boss, to do things on its own. I forget what the term is for that, but that is that. Okay, 55 playing cards. Boom. 24 item cards, 20 fish cards. Gotta have the fish. All about the fish. 8 artifact cards, 3 character cards, 2 beast, 1 sentience mob. Okay. And then you have the 1 rulebook and a lore book as well. So when it comes to the lore book, we don't have that yet. We don't have a finalized copy of the lore book yet, but we will be getting those, I'm sure, soon enough. And as soon as we get a copy of those, hopefully digital sometime, I'll stream that and read the lore book as well, because all about the lore, all about the story. All right. And so now, introduction. Here we go. It says, TimeStrike is an accessible miniature war game with multiple modes. The flagship mode is the boss battle royale, followed by a solo or co-op boss raid. So you can play this game yourself. You don't exactly need other players in order to start operating and getting used to playing the game, which is really cool. And finally, a free-for-all or team skirmish. So skirmish, kind of like almost Heroscape mode in a sense. Players will take turns managing a team of characters by moving them around the void and performing actions to defeat their opponents and be the last team standing. Excuse me. Overview. Universes collide as beings from ancient civilizations and distant futures reach the end of time. It is here that history ends and your adventure begins. A malignant sentience has pulled you into the void, a land of decaying universes creating a rift in time. You must assemble a team. Team assemble. Scavenge for loot, mine for materials, complete quests, build defenses, and fight against the sentience. When is actually this? It would be fun because it's like I remember Joe Crazy for HeroScape made like a HeroScape adventure. Wouldn't it be great to have like a TimeStrike type of role-playing adventure based off TimeStrike? That'd be fun just to be in, role-play in the void, sometime down the line. That'd be fun. Surviving its massively destructive abilities to be the last team standing and escape. At its core, TimeStrike is a game about enduring, adaptable, and fierce nature of the human spirit. It is a game about managing relationships, resources, and even the environment itself to overcome adversity against all odds. And that's one good thing about this game too, is you use the terrain. Like you're literally like building and destroying and moving stuff in the terrain. It's amazing. At the end of time, you may be down, but you're never out. Winning the game. Boss Battle Royale. Players must defeat the massive world boss and each other to be the last team standing. The boss can also win by defeating all players. Skirmish. Players battle against each other and the last team standing wins. This mode focuses on straightforward combat and strategy, HeroScape-like. Boss Raid. In this solo or cooperative mode, players work together to defeat the world boss through multiple phases of increasing difficulty. Players win by depleting the boss's health in the final phase. It's just tons of fun. Strategies for success. Team composition. Carefully draft a balanced team of characters with complementary skills and abilities. Consider both offensive and defensive capabilities. Resource management. Efficiently gather and manage resources such as materials, fish, items, and artifacts. Use these resources to build defenses, heal, and enhance your team's abilities. Map control. Control key areas of the map by strategically positioning your characters. Use elevation, obstacles, and terrain to your advantage. Energy optimization. Plan and execute your actions effectively to use a character's total energy. Use movement, attacks, skills, and other actions in a sequence that maximizes their impact. I need to take a drink. A lot of reading tonight. Engagement tactics. Engage and disengage from opponents wisely. Use the environment to create favorable combat scenarios to avoid unnecessary damage. Adaptability. Be prepared to adapt your strategy based on the evolving game state, including the actions of opponents and the dynamics of the boss and boss battle royale and boss raid modes. Teamwork. In cooperative modes, communicate and coordinate with your teammates to execute joint strategies and support each other in combat and resource gathering. Excuse me. Gameplay dynamics. Players will take turns managing their teams, performing actions such as moving, attacking, gathering resources, and using abilities. The game involves a mix of tactical decision-making, strategic planning, and resource management. TimeStrike 1.0. Future expansions will introduce new and updated rules, enhancing the experience with input from our community. Yep, there's some mana worms. Important notes. TimeStrike is a scalable game. The Shadow of Fear box comes with everything needed for games from 2 to 8 players. But multiple sets of TimeStrike can be combined to accommodate groups of any size. You can make these maps huge, guys. I mean, see that? I saw that little map earlier with my son. That's just a tiny map. You can make these things just like just terrain that seems like it goes on forever. It's just crazy, insane. Your source terrain sets can also be used to further expand your TimeStrike maps. Most rule exceptions are found on cards. If a contradiction to the rules is encountered during gameplay, refer to the card list and the rulebook second. Yeah, refer to the card first and the rulebook second. There you go. The Adventure Together community is on Discord. We have a channel specifically for rule set clarifications, and we would love to help. And they do. You like ask them a question, they're usually responding really quickly. We do our best to get you back to adventuring together as soon as possible. Visit us anytime, and there's their Discord link, and there is a Discord in the link in the description below. Definitely check out their Discord. They're very good at communication there. General information. Below is some of the general information about core components and helpful keywords. Dice. Dice will be referenced throughout the game, starting with the quantity and concluding with the type. For instance, 6-sided dice will be referenced as both D6 and 2D6, where the D6 indicates the type of dice to use and the 2 indicates how many of that dice to use. Combat dice. These 6-sided dice are referred to as combat dice, or D6, and are primarily used to resolve combat. 3 of the sides show an attack icon and are referred to as hits when rolled. 2 of the sides show a defense icon and referred to as blocks when rolled. 1 side shows a black symbol, which is referred to as a void when rolled. One of the attack and defense sides have a gold background, which is referred to as lucky. Interesting. Some cards and abilities make use of these lucky sides. But okay, that's an interesting part. I haven't played that way on it before, I don't think. These 20-sided dice are referred to as D20s. When using a D20, the default mechanic is to roll a 10 or higher to succeed in any action unless otherwise specified. If players are rolling D20s against each other, all ties are re-rolled unless otherwise specified. Markers. I love these things. Now I can't wait to use these things for like stop motion animations in the future, because the red obviously is going to be blood. I could maybe do something blue with like the water and the gold. I'm not sure yet. Maybe I just use that as earth, piling up or something. We'll see. We'll see what I do. Marker cubes will be used to track changes. Actually, that's one question I got to ask it. Maybe Anthony can answer this. This is just my stop motion thinking with this. Is it possible to get these cubes for me in different colors? Not just red, blue, and gold, but can I get them in different colors for stop motion animation purposes, I wonder? I mean, I can always just get a bunch and then repaint them. That's true. But I'm just asking, either that or I just get a bunch of them and just do the, painting myself. But yeah, that was a thought. Marker cubes, which has really nothing to do with reading this book. Okay, markers. Marker cubes will be used to track changes to characters throughout the game. Anthony says, yes, I can send you the list of colors. Okay. Yeah, no, my thinking is it possible to make like cubes of other colors, like black, like white, like just like say all the primary colors basically. It's possible to do that. Because I can think of uses for them via stop motion animation when it comes to using as much practical effects as possible. But that's just that's my video stop motion production mind going, not the actual playing of the game. So I'll let it be for now. Each character card has slots in the health bar and in the buff, curse, awakening, and exhaustion stat columns for holding these markers. At the start of the game, character card slots are filled to represent inactive stats. As the game progresses, markers will be removed to reveal the active stats beneath. If a slot is gray, it means that stat can never be active, so players can leave it empty. Friendly or enemy units. When an attack, skill, item, or other effect refers to a friendly or enemy unit, use the following criteria. Friendly unit. A unit is considered friendly if both players who own the unit agree that it is friendly for that specific instance. Enemy unit. A unit is considered an enemy if it is controlled by a different player and is not on the same team. Okay, here's the fun part. Hex and tile types. Look at this little sidebar there. Nice. Hex and tile types. TimeStrike plays on a hex-based map which can be constructed before and during gameplay. Each hex or tile has a type. Base. Hexes represent normal areas and do not serve any special function in the game. So just regular base tiles. Then you have your resource hexes. Obsidian, runite, look like that, are gatherable throughout the game. So you can mine these things. You can take them off the field or place them or whatever. There's certain things you can make with it. Just, it's so fun being able to use terrain. Using the mine action can be used for building and crafting. Building hexes, roads, are used to create roads, which allow units to more easily move around the map. These can be built using resource hexes. And when they mean like built, like you build these things, like you could build a road that stretches out like 9 spaces ahead, and it only costs 1 movement for a character to move that 9 spaces if it's on a road that they just built, which is incredible. Liquid tiles, water, fish, allow units to fish and are more costly to move through. You cannot build on top of liquid tiles. Tiles are considered to be 1 elevation lower than hexes. Yeah, the difference between hexes and tiles, yep. There's always an elevation lower. Okay. Base, resource, and building hexes all fall under the category of land hexes. Hexes and anything occupying them that are next to each other are considered to be adjacent, regardless of any height difference between the 2 hexes. Okay, let me go back up here. The bottom left list. Name. Okay, we're looking at cards, so okay. Character boards. Character boards are the main component players interact with to control their characters throughout the game. What follows is a breakdown of all the different parts of a character board, starting with the front. The top left of the board lists class, health, unit count, height, and energy. So class, unit count, so that means like squad, so that would be a squad, 3 units. So that'd be a squad's worth. Height, so their height, and energy is 1. And then number 2, the bottom left lists name, race, faction, origin, manworms, meek, ethereal. Adjacent to that is the character's hitbox in gray and vision point in red. So this is where you can hit them. This is where you see, or they can see. The health bar is centered at the top center of the board where damage markers can be placed. To the right of the character artwork is a character's base, move, range, attack, and defense stats. These are the character's starting stats where the player begins counting, and where the player begins counting when calculating their total stat value. And it also lists the movement type and range type. So for move or fly, range 4, attack 1, defense 3. So there's your character card for the manworms. To the right of each stat are a stat modifier, columns for awakenings, buffs, and curses. Every row relates to a base stat and will either add to or subtract from its value. See, curses most of the time will devalue your card. Although I think the demons actually curses help them, which is interesting. And then you got your buffs and you got your awakenings. Okay, below stats are stat modifiers. Below stats and stat modifiers is a row of unique statuses. Exhaustion is used to track if your character has already taken a turn during the current round. So boom, boom. So you know your turn's taken. Let's see here. Anthony says correct. The demons tend to like curses. Yep, I remember that. I remember that from limited time I've played this. Stealth, Enrage, Affliction, and Silence are covered in detail on page 30 to 31, and we're just on page 11 at 10:25 at night. I don't think we're going to finish this tonight, guys. I mean, if we get to page 20, I think we'll be good. And then we'll have to do a part 2 sometime, I think. I just started too late. Yeah, so that's all right though. I want to take my time with this, so we can stream. I might just stream next Wednesday, and we'll finish reading things out. Okay, below stats and stat modifiers is a row of unique stats. Okay, I already read this. Stealth, Enrage, Affliction, and Silence are covered. Yeah, okay, I already read that. So let's go back up here. A character's skills are listed to the right side of the character board. Ba-boom. And let's just read some of these. Mana Link, passive. Mana Worm units share a single health bar. This skill cannot be silenced. So that's just a passive ability. That's just an ability they have. I don't actually know what that means. Okay, so does that mean that in order to take them out, you have to take all of them out? So here, let's just go back up here. Okay, so they have a single health bar, and it's 6. So if you wound one, and they get like 1, 2, or 3 on their health bar, that means there isn't any that's removed from the field until you like eliminate 6, but it doesn't matter which one you hit in order to get the wound. You could like wound 1 and then they get wounded 6 times, and then they all die. And Anthony's like, yes, they all die together at the same time. Okay, that's interesting. All right. Attack, mana missiles. Must have had another mana worm that already attacked the target this turn. Roll at least 1 lucky hit to add extra hit to this attack for each mana worm that already attacked this target. Interesting. Ability, Infuse Mana. The mana worm targets a friendly unit they are engaged with to buff. Grant the move range, attack, or defense buff to the target. The mana worm then receives 1 damage. The target cannot be a unit of this character. Interesting. Okay, they have to sacrifice themselves a little bit, but it does buff whoever friendly they might be adjacent to. 9. The top left of each skill is the skill type. The top right of each skill is a skill name, like we were going through. The lower text in each skill describes how the skill works and may show additional stat changes. The back of the character board lists the character's play style with a summary of their backstory. This is followed by their name and class along with a point value used for skirmish mode. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, and this is a different one actually in here. Character cards. Some characters do not have full boards, interesting, but use playing cards instead. They can't be given awakenings, buffs, curses, and do not have skills. Interesting. Okay, so some of these are like just the creatures, I think. Okay, character references here. Let me take a drink. All right. So next, character references. When the term character is used, this refers to all of the units associated with a single character. So if a character has 2 miniatures, they are both considered to be a single character. Okay? When the term unit is used, this refers only to an individual miniature. Miniatures associated with survivors, monsters, mobs, and sentients are all considered to be units. Multi-unit characters. Certain characters have a unit count greater than 1. These are multi-unit characters. When taking a turn with a multi-unit character, each unit is activated individually and performs its own separate movement and actions, but they're all considered to belong to a single character. Each unit also receives damage individually. unless they have an ability stating otherwise. Both of the multi-unit characters in the Shadow of Fear set have abilities indicating that their units share a single health bar. Okay, so it's not going to be the same, like, so I'm just going to say, like, if you have squad units, I'm just calling them squad units. I know that's not your name for them, but so squad units and Shadow of Fear wave, they share a health bar. But in the future, there's probably going to be squad units that don't. So that'll be interesting. Multi-hex units. Some units are so large that they take up multiple hexes. These are referred to as multi-hex units. Take up more than one space. That means they be big. They're bigger. Bigger, 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 bigger. The Lost refers to units on the map that are not controlled by any player. Classes. Classes associate characters with specific mechanics in different game modes and are listed on the character boards or cards. Survivor is a character that is initially drafted for the boss battle royale and boss raid modes. Sentience is the world boss that must be defeated in the boss battle royale and boss raid modes that can be drafted in the skirmish mode. A beast is a character that can be tamed by survivors and falls under the category of monster. A brute is a character that can be tamed and mounted by survivors and falls under the category of monster. Build the map. Building the map. Hold on. Taking another drink. Okay. Let's go. Let's go. Build the map. TimeStrike comes with a source foundation. A thick foldable cardboard map that can be laid out and played on. The TimeStrike experience is meant to be used with the source system, which allows for three-dimensional map building and destruction. And I'll say one thing also when it comes to my son, using the little bit of source terrain that I have, he loves destroying this stuff because he can do whatever he wants to it, and it doesn't break anything. And I hear just noises all the time going crash, crash, crash of these things, and it's like, and I don't have to shout at him for like, because it's like that's kind of what you're supposed to do. Have fun, enjoy yourself, and he's just like, yeah. Anyway, as you proceed through the rulebook, rules imagery will focus on the use of the source system. Yeah, okay, source foundation. If you are using the source foundation, follow the steps below to set it up. Step 1, unfold the source foundation with a desert theme side face up. Place resource tokens, obsidian, randomly around the map. Throughout the rules, these will be referenced as resource hexes. Materials are gathered from resource hexes by characters and used to build and craft. When placing resource hexes, we suggest placing them in groups around the void. They can also be stacked on each other as well. Recommendation. We recommend placing approximately 20 to 30 resources on the source foundation. Let's see, there's some. Now this is your pretty basic map. I mean, there's going to be a lot more variety to these hex terrains in the future, but that's basically a standard. Source system. If you are using the source system, follow the steps below to set it up. Source themes. Source hexes come in 4 different types. Base hexes, sometimes referred to as land. Liquid hexes, sometimes referred to as water. Resource and building hexes. In the desert theme, these are represented as sand, water, obsidian, renite, and lastly stone roads. If you don't have the desert theme, each thing should follow this format so you can substitute hex types to match the theme you are using. Place and interlock the edges to create the play area of the map. Bum, bum, bum. And these edges are just so, now that I've had a chance to look at them myself, and eventually, I want to do a review of the source terrain tiles and how they build and everything on a stream, but and because I already have some material, but I want to wait until I get material that's ordered in the mail. so it's probably going to be a few months still, and to really check out the stuff, because it's like, it's going to be good, guys. It's going to be really, really good. And these edges are just like revolutionary, these edges. And the edges of the map are used to define boundaries of the game and to hold the dice and markers. Feel free to play with the angles of the edges to build many different shapes and sizes. And I can't wait to have fun with that too. Like, you could probably build one wide, and then you can build like a triangle shaped one, and then have like terrain cross over the edges and go into like that next little area, and then go out into another area. I mean, it's just like literally like endless what you can do with these terrain tiles if you have enough of them. The edges of the map are used to define the boundaries of the game and to hold the dice and markers. Feel free to play with the angle. Okay, I already read that. We recommend using 8 edges for your first game. And step 2, fill in the base layer. Place a base layer of base hexes sand for characters to move on. The base layer of the map is the foundation of the game and cannot be changed by sentience or other effects. So the bases cannot be changed. Recommendation: use larger multi-hexes to help build the base layer faster. Boom. And really, I mean, building these maps, they are insanely fast. It's amazing how fast you can build these up and then tear them down. It's not like your typical HeroScape, which the speed of building up and tearing down is a lot faster when building these things, for sure. Add water and elevation. Place water tiles to create lakes and rivers. Access to water is important to gameplay and is required to perform actions like fishing. Wouldn't you like just to play this game and just fish? I would like to have like an extension to the TimeStrike game to where called fish mode, okay? To where we come up with an expansion that it's just a bunch of cards, and you could have different type of fish expansions, you know, fish excursions, and these fish cards can do different things or give prizes to different things. You could even have like certain cards that's like a gold embossed, like a golden fish card or something. I'm going to probably try and pitch this sometime to you guys. I'm no game developer, but to have like a fishing expansion pack would be fun, because where in a game like this can you have the opportunity just to fish resources? It's crazy. Right? And like one card could be, when you're fishing, you could produce like an old boot, and it's just a rubber boot. Anthony, write down notes. I'm expecting you to write down notes from this, because I'm not going to remember what I'm saying. But the fishing expansion pack, I want my name on it. Place additional base hexes sand to create elevation. Liquid can also be placed on elevation. Look at that creature. I don't know what this creature is, but cool. Anthony says, love it. Would you like to have a Leviathan with it? What, the fish mode? Heck yeah. We could do a golden Leviathan. We could do we can make one that is like a Magikarp, not exactly a Magikarp, but you know, it's a Magikarp, but it's like a golden Magikarp, you know, and that might be the one to try and fish for, you know. That would be fun. Elevation is important because it affects how easy certain characters can move across the map. Elevation can be destroyed during the game. It also allows character to gain height advantage or to hide from range attacks during combat. Roads and walls can be added during map setup, but can also be built during gameplay. Add resources. Place resource hex, obsidian, runite around the map. Materials are gathered from resource hexes by characters and used to build and craft. Just reading this just gets me excited. I just can't express how excited I get, because just the realization of how unstoppably endless this terrain system and anything you can do with it is. It literally blows my mind anytime I investigate it. It's just insane. Someone's driving their car right next to me. When placing resource hexes, we suggest placing them in groups around the void. They can be stacked on top of each other as well. Golden Raptor. I don't know what Golden Raptor is. Hey, sorry, I'm late for the reading. In the middle of a playtest, and I'm only half listening, but so glad to see this happening. Yes, I don't know who you are, Golden Raptor. I probably have met you, but I don't recognize the name. But welcome, welcome, welcome to the Tales of Void YouTube channel. This is our second stream, and hopefully I'll be doing regular streams in the future on Wednesday nights. Wednesday nights usually, and I'm probably only going to read this for like 20 more minutes and then do a part 2 next Wednesday because my time is limited. But we're going to try to read as much as we can here. Okay, we were recommendation. Recommend placing approximately 20-30 resource on edge map for or three resources per edge with more. Choose a game mode. Within TimeStrike, there are multiple modes to choose from. Each mode can scale to accommodate different player and character counts. For new players, we recommend starting with the skirmish mode and learn the basics of the game. Boss Battle Royale mode. A Boss Battle Royale is the flagship game mode featuring a battle between players and a massive world boss. So you're basically fighting against your opponent and also a big baddie that's just roaming around the board. The players will have to work together to defeat the boss while also trying to defeat each other and be the last team standing. In this mode, the boss can defeat all the players and win the game. So again, you have like an AI monster out there that's trying to take you out where you're trying to take your opponent out. It's insane. This mode can be played with teams or as a free-for-all. Skirmish mode. The skirmish mode is a straightforward battle between players. Players will agree on a point total, then draft characters within that limit and battle it out to be the last team standing. This mode can be played with teams or as a free-for-all. This is a great mode for learning some of the basic gameplay mechanics. Boss raid mode. The boss raid mode is a solo or cooperative mode where players will draft characters and work together to defeat the world boss. The players will progressively advance through multiple phases, earning rewards for the players, but also increasing the power of the boss. Once the boss's health is depleted in the last phase, the players win. And I'm thinking like skirmish or boss raid is like when I finally get like a copy of TimeStrike, and if I'm like play testing or playing this, via stream or something sometime. I probably do a solo boss raid because it's just me, myself, and I here at home. But it's cool that you have that where you can play solo to get used to playing the game, become skilled with it. Setup game modes. Once you've chosen a game mode, find the corresponding setup instructions below. After setup is complete, move on to the player turns section to learn how to play. Snake draft method. Starting with the first player, take turns picking characters. The first player selects, followed by the second player, continuing until the last player makes their first pick. The order then reverses, allowing the last player to make their second pick first. If that makes sense. This process, I don't know, I'm just reading the stuff. The process continues in reverse until the first player makes their second pick. The last player to pick in each round has the first choice in the subsequent round, balancing the first pick advantage in any given round. Skirmish setup. Designating a card area. Designate an area where multiple decks of cards will be placed. Players will be using cards in this area throughout the game. And this is a suggestion, okay? For placing cards, for even possibly character cards in the future, for rolling dice. You guys, or you want to say you guys, Venture Together team, you need to create trays. And I know there's already been talk about this, but I'm just throwing the thought out there. You need to make trays that can link up in these like hole indentations there on the edges to where you can place them, and they can be you can have platforms that hold up cards, like hold up game cards or playing cards, so different sizes, or a dice tray as well. So that way you got everything. Those would be great expansions to use, and I'm sure you guys are already coming up with things for them, but that's just me speaking. All right, where was I? Okay, yeah, placing cards. Okay. Okay, so designating card area, placing cards, locate the item, artifact, and fish decks, shuffle each deck individually, then place each one face down in card area, determine point limit, set a point limit for characters to draft characters. 300 to 400 points is recommended for a standard game. Gather the character boards and beast cards to select from. Anthony says, blew my mind just now. I like the card trays that prop cards up. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Card trays like for the card decks as well as the game cards. You can make different sizes of trays and just put them down. Boom. There. Less space on the table now. They're just elevated up there. You can even make like a dice tray. Hell, make a dice tower tray that you put them in and they come out and it's still like elevated above the board. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, just put my name on whenever you release it, so I at least I get my name recognized. If I blew somebody's mind, there you go. Point values. Survivors count as 100 points. Brutes count as 100 points. Beasts count as 50 points. Sentients count as 300 points. Step 4. Determine player turn order. Players determine the turn order by rolling a d20. Each player rolls, and the player with the highest roll becomes the first player. Play then continues clockwise. Drafting a team. Starting with the first player, players take turns picking one character at a time until all characters for each team have been picked. We recommend the snake draft method, which is right there. Okay. Right next door, which we just read. Step 6, trials. Players will draw one trial card corresponding to each survivor type character on their team. On the front side of the card is a list of trials that must be completed by that survivor. To-do list. Okay, Anthony, I hope you're taking notes because I've already suggested some things here. So, like I said, I'm streaming. I'm not going to remember anything I thought of, so because I know nothing. That I should have begun with that. The stream. I know nothing. Once a survivor completes a trial, they can earn the listed reward. Once all trials on the card are completed, the character can then discard it and draw one artifact. Step 7. Placing teams in the void. In turn order, players will choose hexes adjacent to the edge of the void to place their entire team. Characters belonging to the same team must be placed adjacent to one another. Starting play. The first player in the turn order will start the game, and play will continue in a clockwise direction. Now skip to the player turn section, page 17. No, I'm not going to skip right now. We're gonna look at all these setups here. So, we got 10 minutes left. So I don't even think we're gonna get to page 20 tonight, but it's okay. If we need to do 3 streams, we'll do 3 streams. It's okay. We're gonna get this, and then I'll make like a big video combining them all together, and then have it on the video section of the Tales of the Void YouTube channel eventually. Okay. And if you're watching it, I'll complete it on the video. Then that's we're in the making of right now. This is history, people. History. Okay. All right. Okay. Boss Battle Royale setup. Step 1: designating a card area. Designate an area where multiple decks of cards will be placed. Players will be drawing from and referencing cards in this area throughout the game. Again, designating card area, placing cards, locate the item, artifact, and fish decks. Shuffle each deck individually, then place each one face down in the card area. Then find beast cards and place them in the card area. Search through the character boards for any brute characters and place these in the card area as well. Step 3, setting up fears cards. Take the fear deck with the red borders reading Boss Battle Royale on them. Search through the deck and locate the card that reads stats and that has phase 1 on one side and phase 2 on the other, and set it to the side. Shuffle the remaining action cards and place them face down in the card area, then set the stat card with the phase 1 side face up in the card area. Step 4. Determine the character counts. Now you will decide how many characters each player will use during the game. Gather the character boards that are marked as Survivor to choose from. The character count must be the same for each player. We recommend using 2 to 3 survivors per player. Step 5. Determine player turn order. Players will determine the turn order for drafting teams, placing their characters on the map, and then playing the game. Roll a d20 for each player. The player with the highest roll goes first, and then play continues clockwise. Step 6. Drafting a team. Starting with the first player, players should take turns, picking one character at a time until all characters for each team have been picked. We recommend the snake draft method. Lots of references, which is good. Step 7. Trials. Players will draw one trial card corresponding to each survivor type character on their team. On the front side of the card is a list of trials that must be completed by that survivor. Again, to-do list. Once a survivor completes a trial, they earn the listed reward. Once all trials on the card are completed, the character can then discard it and draw one artifact. Step 8. Placing fear. His name's Fear. Yeah, he just left a mark across your forehead. Just saying that. Yep. The last player in turn order must place the Fear miniature anywhere on the map. And look at that colorized one. Oh my gosh. That it fits with its base supported by a flat surface of at least 5 hexes. Fear's base takes up a total of 7 hexes, but up to 2 can be unsupported. We recommend placing Fear near the center of the map. Step 9. Placing monsters. In turn order, place a monster miniature for every 2 survivors that will be played. This means that for games with 2 to 3 survivors, 1 monster will be placed. For games with 4 to 5 survivors, 2 monsters will be placed, and so on. The first monster should be a beast, and every second monster should be a brute. So you got yourself some moggies out there, you know. I just want a bunch of moggies. Just one. Actually, eventually you guys need to come up with Moggy plush toys, because I think those, like multicolored Moggy plush toys, I think those things would sell like hotcakes. All the ladies would want a Moggy. I'm just saying. Just saying. All the kids, all the ladies, they would want a Moggy. Just saying. Then locate the corresponding monster cards in the card area and place them face up. Step 10. Placing teams in the void. In turn order, the players will then pick hexes adjacent to the edge of the void to start their entire team. Characters belonging to the same team must be placed adjacent to each other. Step 11. There's a lot of steps. Anthony's saying, agreed, the Moggy plushies might sell more than swords. I'm telling you, I tell you what. So gotta be on the checklist, guys. Starting play. The first player in the turn order will start the game. The play will continue in a clockwise direction. Boss raid setup. Okay. Let's see. Okay, I think I'm going to read boss raid setup, then we're going to call it a night. Boss raid setup. Step 1. Designating the card area. Again, designate an area where multiple decks of cards will be placed. Players will be drawing from, blah, blah, yada. Placing cards. Locate item, artifact, fish decks. Shuffle each deck individually, blah, blah, yada. Then find beast cards. Search for the character cards. Play any brute characters, blah, 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 blah. Already went through this. Setting up Fear's cards. You locate the Fear deck. Again, I think we've already done this. Yep, a bit. Although I think there's a little bit of a different mode for boss raid, so let's just read through this. Okay, locate the Fear deck with gray borders reading boss raid on each card. Search through the deck and locate 6 cards which read stats on one side and set up on the other. Set aside 3 of the 6 which read boss raid gauntlet. Order the remaining 3 cards from phase 1 to 3 and place them so the setup side is face up. Shuffle the remaining action cards and place them face down so it reads boss raid face up in the card area. There is a version of these cards that are marked gauntlet. This is for players who want an extreme challenge to see just how far they can make it fighting fear, which is cool. So a hard mode. You literally like ripped hard mode from all these like video games out there, and I love it. We do not recommend trying this version until completing the normal boss raid a few times. Okay, step 4, determine character counts. Then you'll decide how many characters each player you will use during the game. We recommend 1 character per player, but you can choose to use multiple. Gather the character boards marked as survivor to choose from. Player turn order. As this mode is intended to be a solo or cooperative experience, you don't have to adhere to a turn order when drafting, placing units, or taking turns during the game. Players are free to take turns in whatever order they want, and can even perform their turns simultaneously. Interesting. Step 6, drafting a team. Starting with the first player, players should take turns picking 1 character at a time until all characters for each team have been picked. Trials. Do not draw trials in this mode. Awakenings and artifacts are awarded for completing phases. Placing fear. Place the fear miniature anywhere on the map that it fits, with its base supported by a flat surface of at least 5 hexes. Fear's base takes up a total of 7 hexes, but up to 2 can be unsupported. We recommend placing fear near the center of the map. Setting up the raid. On the first phase card marked setup, there will be a list of steps to follow. Follow the steps for spawning monsters and mobs and any additional steps. The center 7 hexes represent fear's position, with the arrow showing which way fear is facing. Then spawn the corresponding lost units on the hexes marked around fear. Step 10. Placing characters in the void. Each player can place their characters on hexes adjacent to the edges of the map. If a character has multiple units, they must be placed adjacent to one another. Step 11. Starting play. Players may use their characters simultaneously. Okay, so I think that's where I'm going to end it for tonight. Let me take a drink real quick. So we went through all those game modes, and what can I say to end this? So that, okay, well, just for editing purposes, so that ends the reading. We're at the end of page 17 right now, and we're just finished reading all the different game mode setups, and then we'll get into turns the next time we stream, which should be probably be next Wednesday. If not, then you'll be notified on this YouTube channel. But yeah, this might take a few streams to read through, which is fine. But again, I'd say things to take, or things that I've taken this time around, is that well, Moggy plush toys, Moggy plushies for sure. Trays for dice rolls, trays for cards, for card decks, and trays for character cards. My idea. And then what else was I thinking? I think there was something else that I came up with. Oh yeah, and fish deck expansions. So you're just fishing all the time, and you can have different types of fish. So that's what I took from it, stuff that can be expanded on. Again, this is why I love this system so much. This is why I'm very enthusiastic about this, even though I consider myself just an average miniature war gamer. The opportunity of expanding things is just before us. It just looks endless, and I don't even say we're just getting started. We haven't even crossed the starting line yet because nothing's been released yet. We're just getting ready. It's just it's so exciting. So I'm glad these things got downloaded. Again, if you want to check out, if you want to read this rulebook for yourself, because like I said, it's going to take us a few streams to go through it. Link in description below if you're watching this on YouTube, and you'll find a link to go to the Discord to where you can download it and read through it yourself, so you can start familiarizing yourself with this game before it's released come the end of the year. So with that, I will bid you all a good night. And here I'm gonna okay, so I'm gonna mark it, note it, page 17, player turns, and I'll try to remember that for next week, but I'm just gonna go back up to here. Look at that. And we had a fun little bit of lore at the beginning of this with fear right there, and everybody just looking at them. That's a nice little camera angle too. I'm gonna have to try to recreate that when I do stop motion for stuff. But yeah, a little bit of fun lore there, reading at the beginning, and just this is nice. Very nice. Very nice cover. Very nice cover art. And so, yeah, I'm going to end it there. So I thank everybody for watching. Please like, share, subscribe to the channel, because this channel is just getting started. I think right now I just have 11 some subscribers at the moment. So I'm certainly looking to build this channel just as much, if not greater, than my Tales of Hell YouTube channel. Maybe simultaneously get both, you know, more going. Yeah, thank you, Anthony, for the comments. Again, I hope you took notes. Because we'll probably be talking about all that stuff in the future. But yeah, thank you for joining us. Thank you everybody else who's tuned in and who will tune in the future. We will read through more of this next time. But with that, thank you everybody for watching. The greatest adventure is yet to come. Talk to you guys later now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Later.